Hello and welcome to the gallery. My name is Jon and today we are gonna paint a demon. It's a pony. A pony demon. A few years ago, I was with my daughter at the friendly local gaming store, and I was buying models, and she saw pony figurines, and she wanted to buy one and paint it and everything like that. I thought to myself, why don't I join this fun? So I bought myself a pony as well. However, I painted it in a completely different fashion than what she had intended. I painted this, a little Nurgle pony. It's my little plague bearer. Now, after having painted this model, I like the concept of maybe getting more of these cutesy little toys and painting them up as demons. So, years go by, she still hasn't painted her pony. She knows about my idea. She gave me her pony to paint up. So, let's do that. Now, for this particular pony, I wanted to go for a Tzeentch theme, so we had to start by sculpting a little bit on him, because we want some beaky bits on this equine avian demon thingy. So we're going to sculpt a little bit of a beak, and we're also going to get rid of some of those pesky mold lines that these models come with, and they are extreme, to say the least. I got rid of most of them, but there will still be a few that I saw glaring after the painting process. But it's not like I'm going to play with this thing. It's just going to be in the shelf as a funny little thing to keep there. Now, after I've done all this extra bit, sculpting the beak and fiddling with those mold lines, it's time to start painting it. So I grabbed my paints and my brushes, and I was ready to paint. Now, having thrown all the brushes on the table, I decided to start using the airbrush to begin with, to get those smooth, crisp, creamy blends. Started with a white undertone because we want a bright looking theme, and then I sprayed it from the bottom up with a little bit of voluptuous pink contrast paint, which is quite fun to spray through an airbrush. These contrast paints in an airbrush, they work almost like inks. It's quite fun to use, and I would recommend trying it if you have the opportunity. Now, after we've done that, there was a little bit of overspray. It was maybe a little bit too much on the pinky purple side, where we wanted it to be a little bit lighter. We're putting the pink underneath mainly to give some accent to the shadows, to have some different tones in the look of it. So I sprayed a little bit more white from on top, just to make it a little bit smoother, or even it out a little bit, so to speak. After that was done, I grabbed some Talisker blue contrast paint, and then I sprayed the entire thing in this color. And now we have this lovely blue color that I kind of like. It's still a little bit too dark blue. We want a little bit of a lighter tone. So I found my Vallejo Verdigris color. It's a light, comfy blue color. It's very, very light. Well, it's Verdigris. It's pale bluish tint. So thinned that out quite profusely, popped it in the airbrush, and then just gave it a quick here and there just to add some highlights to the model. At this point, of course, I have to do the YouTuber thing. There is stuff down there in the description, stuff you can click, an Amazon affiliate store with paints and painting utensils, something to sculpt with in various bits. If you buy from that store, I will get a small kickback and you will get good products on a decent price. There's no extra cost to you. I just get a little bit in the pocket, which is fine by me. Also, I have a Patreon. I try to upload pictures and what I'm working on regularly, and in the future there will be votes on what I will be doing next and stuff like that. If you want to, by all means, check it out. It would really assist me in running this little venture of mine. Also, there's the social media stuff, which I would love for you to take a look at if you want to. But of course, the liking and the sharing and the subscribing is the main thing that will help this channel out in the long run. Now we put the airbrush behind us, and we're gonna start with a little bit of brushwork. I still have the verdigris. I now put it on my wet palette, and I'm gonna brush it into some of the finer points of it, like in the feathers of the wings and the entirety of the hair. Now this paint doesn't cover really well, especially when you thin it down like I accidentally did. So 2-3 layers was necessary to get a decent enough opacity. That's nothing to worry about though, because we're going to go over everything that we painted in this color with the Pilar Glacier. It's a contrast paint. It's a very, very thin contrast paint. It's perfect for when you want to do ice and snowy backdrops or something like that. And I wanted to try it on these paler blue colors, see what it did. And what it did was some sort of mixture between the blue color of the demon and the white blue color that I put down in the hair and the feathers, and I really liked it. However, it was staining the flat surfaces that this model is full of, so I went back with a little bit of verdigris just to tone it back down, so we just get the color in the recesses and mix it a little bit better, so it looks a little bit better. Now it's time to break up the monotony of this blue color. He has a beak and he has eyes. So we're gonna paint them in a bright, fiery orange with yellow highlights, something bright, something interesting, something to really break up the blue color. I start by brushing on Vallejo's Orange Fire. It's a vibrant orange color. It takes 2-3 coats to get it to cover all this blue color that's already there from all the overspray and everything like that. But once we've gotten a solid undertone, we can start working a little bit of the yellow in. We're not really dry brushing, we're not really glazing. We have quite a lot on the brush, it's a little bit watered down, and we're just streaking it back and forth along the beak because it's rough, so it will catch mainly the edges, but a little bit more, and it will make it look somewhat okay. This kind of reminds me when I was 12-13 years old, back in 95-96, starting to paint my high elf models, and I didn't really know about dry brushing, I didn't really know about shading. I had black ink paint and a couple of different metallic paints. I put down dark metallic, then black ink, and then with a sort of damp, sort of dry, sort of old brush, just swiveled the other brush around it to make some sort of metal look to it. It looked okay to my 12-year-old eyes, and this is basically the same method I'm using here for the beak. And funnily enough, it looks okay for this. Is it an extremely technical and good method? No. But is it simple? And does it look okay? Yeah, that it does. Next, we're gonna put some more yellow in the eye. Just give it a little bit of a brighter look, a little bit more demonic. And then we're just gonna fill in the iris with a little bit of matte black. Now I was thinking about putting the matte black also on the eyelashes because the other model had black eyelashes and orange hair. However, I felt it was fitting to grab the verdigris again and brush that along the eyelashes to get this lovely white bluish eyelash thing going. And it's a weird look, but I like it. Now for the base, let's do some magic in a simple way. I start by painting the entirety of the base white. I put a thick layer. It took some time for that thing to dry. Next, I put some art coat over top of this. Simple enough, let that dry. And then I just piled on mordant earth. Usually when I'm using this texture paint, I put it on some fiery painting, like mixing yellow and red and orange to get some lava feels going. But I wanted to try something different, see how it came out. The mordant earth, of course, dried, beautifully cracked, and this looks very interesting with the white underneath. So I grabbed the Pilar Glacier and I really lathered that on, tinting the black in the slightest of blue tones, and then when that's dry, putting Lamia medium over it to tone it down and seal everything together. Now it's just time to glue the Tzeentch Daemon pony on top of the base and call it done. Thank you very much for joining me here today. There are links in the description for all kinds of stuff, social media, the Amazon store, and various tidbits. This you know, I've mentioned it before. You do with it what you will. By all means, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification thing as per usual. But most of all, let the colors flow. Until next time, farewell.